The Smash series has plenty of playable characters throughout each installment. Each installment brings a plethora of new characters and just a lot of brand new content in each game, and there's just so much characters that come into these games, and it's just such an amazing feeling going into each Smash game and trying each and every single one of the new characters that end up making it into the roster. However, with all the new characters that get added into Smash, that also comes with a lot of cut characters or characters that were planned, scrapped, or considered. This has always been a topic that has interested me because I've always wanted to just look back at who and what was going to be in the other games and just see how well, and just see how it looks back at, the development of the game, and it's such a cool feeling, and I've always loved to look at planned characters and see who was gonna originally make it into the roster. It's definitely one of the best, it's definitely one of the most fun things to look up in regards to Smash, is to see who was gonna make it. But that's why today I was going to look back at each Smash game and talk about all of the planned, considered, or scrapped characters throughout the series. This is going to be a fun series, and not a series, but a fun video to talk about, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, let's just go right into Smash 64. With Smash 64 being the first entry in the series, you can already tell that there's going to be some characters that didn't make it into the final roster, and some characters that were basically considered for the game. And, we have 4 characters that were planned or scrapped or considered. 1 character that was considered, 1 character that was planned, and 2 characters that were scrapped. Marth was considered for this game, and Mewtwo was planned. However, Bowser and King Dedede were scrapped. Bowser and Dedede were being worked on for about half of the development of the game, but then were removed shortly late into development for unknown reasons. Marth was considered to join the original roster as a different type of sword-wielding character, but because of the limited development time, he wasn't included. Also, I think it was because Fire Emblem just wasn't really popular in North America. However, that didn't stop Marth and Roy from being in Melee to promote Fire Emblem into the West. Fortunately, though, Mewtwo, Marth, and Bowser made their way into Melee, while King Dedede made it into Brawl. These characters eventually became Smash mainstays. So yeah, all 4 of these characters were going to be in the original Smash 64 game, but unfortunately, they didn't make it in, but it's okay because all of these characters did end up making it eventually, and that is really nice to see. However, that's it for the Smash 64 cut characters. Now, let's go on to Melee.
Super Smash Brothers Melee!
Melee is definitely a game with plenty of cut characters and unused content, and some of the considered characters for this game were a Yumi Takabana from Famicom Detective Club, and Sakurai wanted plenty of retro characters in this game. He wanted at least 1 retro character. Obviously, Sakurai went with Ice Climbers, but some of the characters that he mentioned that he wanted as retro characters were Takamaru from the Mysterious Mirrorsim Castle, Mach Rider from Mach Rider, Balloon Fighter from Balloon Fight, Urban Champion from Urban Champion, Bubbles from Clu Clu Land, and Excite Bike from Excite Bike. Obviously, he did go with Ice Climbers, possibly due to them having just a lot of moveset potential and just them attacking with ice. That's probably why Sakurai chose Ice Climbers instead of these characters. Another considered character that is going to make a lot of you guys happy, I'm pretty sure, is that Banjo and Kazooie were actually considered for Melee. The reasons why they didn't make it in is kind of obvious. Banjo and Kazooie, it was at the time where Banjo and Kazooie were getting sold out by Microsoft along with Rare. So because of that, Nintendo really couldn't make that work, and yeah, Banjo and Kazooie had to get cut. But definitely, the most surprising character that was actually considered, in my opinion, was James Bond from GoldenEye 007. This is a movie-originated character, and yet he was actually considered for Melee. Obviously, the reason why he was cut is extremely obvious. He's a movie character, and Sakurai just thought he probably just thought he had no place in Smash, and obviously nowadays, Smash is all about characters that originated from video games and have video game history, and James Bond just doesn't really have that. Yes, he had video games, but he originated as a movie character, so that is mostly the reason why he was cut. However, there was 4 planned characters, and the good thing about this is that these 4 characters actually did end up making it into the Smash series in the future. Those characters are Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, Sonic the Hedgehog, Lucas from Mother 3, and Wario. Yeah, Melee was actually planned to have third-party characters. Snake and Sonic were cut because of time constraints, most likely. So, yeah, but they did end up making it their way into Brawl, and that exploded the internet when that happened. Lucas from Mother 3 was planned to actually replace Ness, but Ness was chosen in favor of Lucas, again because Ness appeared in the original Smash game, and I'm pretty sure Sakurai wanted all of the characters in the game. However, out of all of the cut characters from this game, Wario was probably the most likely to get in, as Sakurai even stated himself that if he had time to add one more character for Melee, it would have been Wario. So yeah, Wario was almost planned to be in Melee, but most likely due to time constraints, which basically that's what Sakurai implied, he got cut and he didn't make it in. But the good thing about that is that he did end up making it into Brawl, which is always a good thing. Overall, Melee had definitely a plethora of many cut characters and unused content, and yeah, there's a lot of characters that went unused. However, that doesn't top Brawl, because Brawl is definitely one of the most interesting cut character lineup. So, let's just go into Brawl. Brawl's cut characters are definitely some of the most interesting parts of the Smash series because Brawl has the most cut characters and some of the most speculated cut characters throughout the series. However, we're going to be talking about some of the considered characters, and then we're going to get into the characters that were actually scrapped, because there was actually a lot of scrapped characters. So some of the characters that were considered were Villager from Animal Crossing. The reason why he wasn't considered or even in is because Sakurai just didn't know how to make him work. However, that was totally debunked when Smash 4 added Villager into the game. A Nintendog was actually considered for the game as a playable character. However, I'm pretty sure the same reason for Villager applies to Nintendog. He probably just didn't know how to make him work. So instead, Nintendog got the assist trophy and has remained an assist trophy throughout each installment. Blastoise was actually considered to be a part of the Pokemon Trainer, as part of the Pokemon Trainer's Pokemon, but Blastoise was just not in because they probably just had other Pokemon that they wanted to include over him, and Blastoise was probably cut due to time constraints as well. Ridley was actually planned to be in Brawl, but Ridley, obviously, we all know the famous excuse, Ridley is too big. Well, at this time, Sakurai thought Ridley was too big to be in Smash, so that's why he couldn't be in. However, Ridley did get to be a boss in this game in the Subspace Emissary, so that's always cool too. Pac-Man was actually considered for this game as well as another third-party character. However, I don't really know why he was cut, possibly due to just not having much moveset potential at the time, but obviously he was in Smash 4, so that kind of debunks the whole thing. Mii's were actually considered to be in the game. However, Sakurai actually came out and said at E3 that Mii's were considered for Brawl, but he didn't know how to make them work, and it was just too complicated to make Mii's work, but hey, he found a moveset for them in Smash 4, so hey, that's always good too. And last but not least, I'm pretty sure all you guys saw this coming, Geno from Super Mario RPG was considered as yet another third-party character. The reason why Geno wasn't in is unknown to me. I think it's because of time constraints, but Sakurai has said in a Famitsu column that he wanted to include Geno ever since Brawl when he was talking about Geno's Mii Fighter costume in Smash 4, but yeah, I don't know why he was not in, but he was definitely one of the most requested characters for Smash 4. Up there was Sonic and Mega Man, and those two characters actually did end up making it in the Smash series eventually, so that is pretty interesting to note. But yeah, Geno was definitely considered for Brawl, because Sakurai even stated so himself, and yeah. However, let's get into the scrapped characters. This is probably the most interesting thing about this whole cut characters from Brawl, because each character that was scrapped is known as the Forbidden 7. Now, if you don't know what the Forbidden 7 is, these are basically 7 characters that were, and they were characters in Brawl's files, however, they weren't in. So, yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to talk. So these scrapped characters of the Forbidden 7 are Dr. Mario, which has been confirmed, Mewtwo, which has been confirmed, Roy has been confirmed, Toon Zelda / Toon Sheik has been confirmed, Plusle and Minun, which has been kind of speculated, and Dixie Kong, which has been confirmed. Now, Plusle and Minun's files in the game, which is called Primi, which that's kind of like the Japanese name, that's like the Japanese pronunciation of Plusle and Minun, at least I think it is. So that's why many people believe that that character is Plusle and Minun, but every other character has basically been confirmed that those are the characters that were going to be in Brawl. In fact, I think Mewtwo was the closest to be done in Brawl's, in the Brawl files, because he even had voice clips, which is definitely interesting to note. Overall, yeah, Brawl had a lot of cut characters throughout this game, and yeah, definitely a lot of noteworthy cuts as well. However, there has been a few Smash 4 cuts, but it's definitely been one of the least amount of cut characters throughout the series. But yeah, let's go on to Smash 4. Smash 4 doesn't have as much cut characters as Melee and Brawl, but there still is a lot of notable characters that were considered or cut from this game. Some of them are Takamaru, which he was considered yet again, but I don't know why he wasn't included this time, most likely due to time constraints, but Takamaru did end up being a assist trophy, so that's cool. Hayachi from Tekken was actually considered to be in Smash 4, however, the reason why he was cut is because Sakurai just thought he would be too boring of a character and wanted someone that was more iconic from the fighting game scene. And so he went with Ryu from Street Fighter instead. I kinda get that decision since Ryu is the most iconic fighting game character, so it makes a whole lot of sense. Geno was yet again considered for Smash 4, but this time he couldn't get in because, I don't know why, but it was most likely due to time constraints. However, Sakurai did end up making Geno a Mii Fighter outfit, so even though we can't play as Geno, like actual Geno, we can still make a Mii Fighter of him and pretend we're playing as Geno. Sure, it ain't as fun, but hey, it's something for the fans. However, there was actually 2 planned characters. One was Chrom, and this was probably due to time constraints or something. I don't really know why Chrom was, cut, and probably because they wanted to choose Robin over him as the Awakening rep. And another character was Elf. And now, some people might be saying, Elf is already in the game, he's an alt costume for Olimar. Well, Elf is actually, Elf was actually planned to be his own separate character, possibly using the Pikmin from Pikmin 3. However, that just didn't happen, and instead, he ended up being an alt costume. And Lucina was also planned to be an alt costume for Marth, but yet she was planned to just be her own unique character. So that's pretty noteworthy too. However, there's 2 scrapped characters. One of them is the Ice Climbers. Now, the Ice Climbers were so close into getting into Smash 4. However, the reason why Sakurai cut the Ice Climbers is because he wanted both the Wii U and the 3DS version to have the same characters in each version. However, Ice Climbers couldn't work in the 3DS version. They could work in the Wii U version, but they couldn't work in the 3DS version. And that's because the 3DS has limitations that the Wii U doesn't. And so, because of that, the Ice Climbers unfortunately had to get scrapped. But it was okay because they ended up getting into Ultimate eventually. But yeah, the Ice Climbers were so close into getting into Smash 4. They were so close, in fact, that there was actually a glitch in Smash 4 that will make Villager, that will actually shout the Ice Climbers chant in the background of the stage when playing as Villager. That is how close the Ice Climbers did to getting into the game, is that they actually do have leftover files in the game that ended up getting into the game through a glitch. So that's also pretty interesting. And last but not least, there was actually a Rhythm Heaven character that was planned, most likely the Chorus Kids. The reason why the Rhythm Heaven character was scrapped is I don't know, possibly because of lack of moveset potential, which kind of shows seeing how we didn't get a Rhythm Heaven rep in Smash Ultimate. But yeah, a Rhythm Heaven rep is so close into getting into the game since there was a leftover icon for the Rhythm Heaven series. So that's most likely the case that we were going to get a Rhythm Heaven character. So yeah, a Rhythm Heaven character was definitely planned to be in the game. However, that is all I have to say for the Smash 4 cut characters. Now we're going to get into the last game. The last game that has the least amount of cut characters. We're going to be going into the big one. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now we're at Ultimate, and yes, Ultimate did have some characters that Sakurai did consider for this game, and there isn't a lot of characters. There's only 3 characters that are on this list. However, these are pretty noteworthy characters that were going to be considered. So yeah, let's just go right into it. So, and one considered character for the game was Alucard from Castlevania. However, Sakurai wanted to include a Belmont as the playable representation of Castlevania, which is why Alucard ended up getting cut. However, Alucard did get an assist trophy, and he did make a special guest appearance on Palutena's guidance when he's, doing the guidance for Richter. So that's pretty noteworthy, and that's pretty cool that he did get some representation despite not getting a playable character role. Next up is Decidueye. He was actually considered to be the Gen 7 Pokemon of this game. However, Sakurai went with Incineroar because he always wanted a wrestler-type fighter in Smash, and once he saw the, what Incineroar looked like, that was who Sakurai wanted. However, Decidueye was probably going to be the second most wanted character from Sakurai. That was probably going to be the second after Incineroar if, Sakurai didn't include Incineroar. But yeah, Sakurai chose Incineroar instead. And then we get into the last characters, and you know how I said the last character? Well, last 2 characters. Sakurai wanted a character from Xenoblade 2 and ARMS. However, this is quite obvious why they didn't get in. It's because it was bad timing. ARMS came out in 2017, and, obviously, Ultimate started development in 2015, and Xenoblade 2 got released even later in 2017, and yeah. So it was definitely bad timing, and yeah, definitely hurt its chances of, getting into the game. But hey, at least we got Springman as an assist trophy and a Rex Mii Fighter outfit. So that's okay in my opinion. But yeah, that's really all there was for Ultimate's considered characters. There was probably more considered characters for Ultimate, especially since Ultimate's a new game, and we kind of learn about the considered characters over time. So there's probably more considered characters than this, but hey, we're just gonna have to know in the future and look into the future and see who is gonna be considered for this game, because it's very interesting to hear about this stuff. But yeah, so that's basically the end of the video. So what did you guys think about this video? Let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to hear it. And what character that was planned to be in these games do you want to see in the Smash game that hasn't been in yet? Let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to hear it. Anyways, this has been Enigma, and peace. See you next time.